Hello, and welcome to Kevin's Awesome History Lessons. Today, we're going to be talking about pirates!
Arr, matey, give me your booty.
No, Kevin, not that type of pirate. We're going to be talking about freaks.
Booty!
Um, okay, these freaks are spelled with a PH. They're essentially telephone network hackers. They use their techniques to gather information and to place free calls. The father of telephone phreaking, as many people believe, is a man by the name of Joe Ingressia. He was blind. He also had perfect pitch. No, Kevin, he's not Stevie Wonder. He's Joe Ingressia. They're completely different guys. Joe Ingressia has perfect pitch. So when he whistled the fourth E above C during a voicemail recording with a friend, his voicemail recording immediately shut off. This was because the tone that he whistled was 2600 hertz, which apparently was the same tone that the telephone company used to shut off their calls. He called the telephone company and asked them what was up, and they told him. This was the gateway that the phone freaks needed. Word quickly spread of Joe Ingressia's discovery, and soon enough there were phone freaks all around the world. They were pulling some pretty cool stunts too. One of them claimed that he talked to President Nixon.
But I thought listening to other people's conversation was what I did.
Another claims to have called the Pope.
No, I don't want to join your stupid church and stop calling me.
Much more important than the prank calls and practical jokes, however, was that these people gathered information and they developed communities of like-minded individuals who could share that information and really learn from one another. It should also be noticed that these people were some of the brightest, most technically gifted people in our communities. They were the first hackers. In fact, many of them went on to found personal computer companies that we know and love today. In fact, the most valuable company in the entire world right now was founded by a couple of freakers.
Whoops.
I'm talking, of course, about Apple. Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs discovered phreaking when they were about 16 or 17. They used a device called a blue box, which is a small handheld device that emits frequencies needed to hack into the telephone networks. They began producing these and selling them to their fellow students for a profit. This is where some people have said that Steve Jobs honed his impressive marketing expertise. Not only did this early exposure to phreaking help develop Steve Jobs' brilliance in marketing, it helped Steve Wozniak really get involved in the computer community as a whole as it was developing in the Silicon Valley. Partially inspired by his interest in phreaking, he joined a club called the Homebrew Computers Club, which has produced many important names in the tech industries these days and many important hackers as well. In fact, it was at the first meeting of the Homebrew Club that Steve Wozniak said he was inspired to develop the Apple I, Apple's first computer. It's amusing to me that Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak can attribute a large portion of their success to the fact that they were pirates. For all intents and purposes, they were illegally sailing the open oceans of a telephone company. So the next time you take out your iPhone and you're about to jailbreak it, or you're about to try and download some illegal material, just keep in mind, what would Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak do?